Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. I am Wiso from FoodMexSource.com. This is an hour-long podcast dedicated to all things Mexican football. And as you can see, El Tucanazo, ladies and gentlemen. Naive actually wanted us to play this song, but guys, Tuca, the news today. And that's what we'll be talking about. So that's why we have this song, getting a little rhythm going on. Thank you to all who are joining us on the chat today. Thank you to all who are joining us either by cell phone or on your desktop. This is going to be fun. 1 hour of Mexican football. But in the news, like we were talking about today, Tuca Ferreti being presented today by the FMF.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes,
dude,
you didn't know.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
No, not at all.
Let's go. Already the producers took off our fun song. All right, let's see who's on our program today. Starting with Cesar, Mr. Cesar in California.
Yeah.
Cesar, how are you?
Doing well.
Excited with the Tuca news? Oh, there they go.
we should just let this song kind of keep going in the background throughout the whole podcast.
Somebody should make a video of Tuca like on the sidelines doing stuff to that song. Wicked.
Oh, you know what would be perfect is a video where he's yelling at his players. I mean, he's yelling at the players at the practice, but just have this song.
Or in his press conferences with all his swearing. You know, he just pauses the song and he comes out.
This is where you're wrong. This is a new Tuca we're seeing now. All right, none of this.
It's a new one. It's a new one, no?
All right, Cesar, how are you?
Doing all right. Went on a run earlier today. I think I injured my leg, so like I'm out probably for the season. So yeah, I'll just be sitting at home now. I guess that's a good thing. Maybe I'll just be watching more soccer because of that. But yeah, obviously here. What was that?
And not Gio.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. Talk plenty about Tuca. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about him today. Talk about Liga MX, talk about Europeos. Yeah, talk about who we could potentially call up. So yeah, nice to see you guys.
Fun. Should be fun. Thank you, Cesar, for joining on. Mr. Naive Moran, back in Houston. All right, back not in the Big Apple anymore. A great summer you had, but how are you, Mr. Naive?
Good. We so good to see Tom and Cesar. Yeah, it's good to be back in Texas. So really close to the Dynamo Stadium and see if Google can get some minutes. We need Mexican forwards to get minutes. I think that's one of the things as this new season has started. But yeah, I think Tuca provided a lot of peace, I think, in the FMF, because I think there's a lot of turmoil in the FMF, looking for a coach. The way that Miguel Herrera left the coaching seat was a little bit, chaotic in itself. And we saw another kind of face of Tuca, one that we kind of rarely see, just smiled all the time, which was, it got odd at one point. I was just like, is this real life?
It's the real Tuca.
It's not Tuca anymore, guys. It's Ricardo.
Don Ricardo.
Mr. Tom Marshall, how are you? Guadalajara.
I am good. Yeah, I was a bit ill this weekend, but I'm feeling a lot better today. So yeah, that's good, isn't it?
Good. Tom sent us a quick pic. I do have it right here. We'll go ahead and show it. No, just kidding.
Oh no, he should have.
I mean, he was pretty sick.
I was in a bad way, but yeah, watched a few of the games, the ones that I could in the Liga MX, and a lot of goals this weekend. I think there were like 30 or something.
Over 30 goals again for another 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and in La Liga,
so many goals.
In La Liga, over the 9 games over Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there was 8 goals. So massive difference there between the amount of goals in each league. But yeah, I mean, it's all about Tuca and the national team now. Obviously, what's going to happen? It's going to be interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But I can't put my finger on it. You know what I mean? I can't nail what Tuca is going to be like in front of this national team.
This is going to be fun. It is going to be a lot of fun, especially the next 4 games. I'm with you right there. So let's go ahead and just talk about it right away. I mean, Tuca Ferreti, which it wasn't a surprise. I mean, I think the La Volpe news came out before, last week, and then all of a sudden the next day, it looks like Tuca Ferreti. And you know what? I've been following it closely, talking to whoever, our contacts between all of us here at the Mexican Soccer Show, and we saw, the news that Tuca Ferreti was going to be, he confirmed it. Tom, Naive, and then it's just kind of everyone is in this haze of what's going to happen. It looked like the interim position was probably the best way to go. So before we talk about Tuca, let's talk about the decision first. I want to hear your thoughts on the interim process. What does this say about the FMF, especially that they haven't contacted any coaches, as you saw today in the press conference, but more importantly, having an interim buys them a little more time. Is that good or is that bad? Tom, in your assessment of getting an interim coach, and we talked about it a couple of weeks back, is this just because the FMF is looking for that type of coach that takes a little longer? I don't want to mention Bielsa. I've been saying it all over Twitter for the last 2 weeks. But a coach like Bielsa needs time to look at the process, and obviously to come in, study on the Mexican national team. Is it heading towards that direction, or do you feel like the FMF is just lost and can't find anybody right now? And not only that, can't find any coaches on the local level, and they have to get interim.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think they have been talking to coaches. He said they have been contacting him, but they haven't made an offer. So, listen, when I first heard about Tuca Ferreti and they're going to put an interim manager in with a lot of experience like Tuca, I thought, this is a real positive. It shows that they're taking a step back. That they said that qualifying is much more important than the Confederations Cup and the World, and not obviously moving on to the next World Cup. That the process is more important than the immediate results right now. And I thought, nice one. This is a bit of a shift in mentality. And then it came out that Tigres released the statement that Tuca Ferretti had been offered the full-time job, and that he rejected it. And then that made me then think that, wait up, what's going on there? Then it's like, so they wanted Ferretti. Ferretti was the number one guy for the federation, and he then rejected it, which makes me think that that they're now going back to the drawing board and thinking of a new plan, which doesn't fill me with confidence, to be honest.
It's a little odd, especially with how that came out.
It was very odd. Yeah, let me just say this quickly. Just the whole way that it came out. I mean, usually you call a press conference and you bring the manager in and everything's formal, or you release a statement on your official website saying this is what's happening. Ferretti's coming in. We're gonna have a press conference next week. Further details to follow. Instead, Di Maria told Televisa, and then he told ESPN, and then he told, and late on a Friday night, it makes you think, well, and
what happens on a Friday night? Usually, like bad news, right?
I'm not going to suggest anything.
You've worked in press before. Usually, if a story needs to be put in where over the weekend, you put it on a Friday night, so it kind of dies in anything that, especially sports related in Liga MX. But it was very, very odd. I'm with you there. Especially Tigres saying that they offered him the job and that he didn't take it. So, I don't know. It's like I said, it was a circus to begin with. I don't know if we can truly go on if Tigres really has the facts straight. That Tuca Ferretti was supposed to be the manager. This could have been from before.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between saying, Tuca, would you be interested in this job? And Tuca, here's this offer. Would you take this job? Here's the offer.
You think maybe they contacted him before the Libertadores? I mean, it looks like maybe Tuca could have been the plan A from the beginning, and he said no. And then obviously them looking at and I mean, there's really no timeline, or did Tigres go, oh, they contacted him right away after all this search? I feel like.
But also, one of the things about this whole deal, it looks like it was Ferretti who brought up the idea of him being an interim coach, and then also the night that Tigres played Cholos on Friday night, I think, Tom, the confirmation from Desi Maria came Thursday night.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry,
López Dóriga and the Noticiero, so Televisa got the exclusive. So Alejandro Rodriguez, the president of Tigres, he said that on Friday night, he said that Tuca was going to coach Tigres and El Tri at the same time. And today, Tuca confirmed that he's actually going to coach El Tri starting this Sunday all the way till October. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that came down basically in the last hours.
What is cheese?
And to add to the confusion, I saw that Naive brought it up too, on Twitter. He just said that last Friday, or we saw all those reports, blah blah, Tuca's be coach, this would be interim. But as Naive mentioned online, it's just there was nothing from FMF, and even up until last night, I was checking the FMF website. There was still nothing on the FMF website last night to confirm that he was there. Hopefully, there's something now that there's an actual press conference. But it's just strange that there's just nothing even.
There's
last
one person
night,
updating the FMF website. I mean, it's not like they have the most lucrative teams going out and making sure. So I wasn't that surprised on the FMF website, but at least some kind of communication. But back to the initial question on what does this tell you about the FMF doing it right, or are they doing it wrong? It looks like for me it's 50-50 because I can see a positive and a negative, and it's saying that all right, they're waiting for a bigger coach, better proceso. If they couldn't find anybody, I guess what it comes down to, they didn't find anybody on the local level because they would have named it, correct? Well, are we safe to agree that because Tuca became interim, they couldn't find anybody in the local market?
I don't think there's much in the local market.
Well, yeah, no, there we go. I mean, there's anything there.
I mean, there's
who else would have been? There's Caixinha, who probably had no interest in the Matosas, but look how he's doing.
Buse could be, but we touched those options. Yeah.
And La Volpe's thrown his own name into the ring, but I mean, listen, I mean, the thing I wrote the day after that it came out is that, I'd honestly, we listen to your question, are they doing it well? Are they doing it right? Are they doing it wrong? I don't know. I think history tells you that they're probably doing it wrong because there's been nothing to suggest that this is a new kind of path for the federation. From what I've heard, since Deseo Di Maria took over, since Herrera got fired, I've heard, to be really, really honest, I've heard nothing that this is some kind of revamp of the federation, new vision coming in, we're going to do things differently. But having said that, I think that how this process is going to be judged will depend on who the actual who is the coach in charge. You know what I mean? I mean, Tuca's great for now. Yeah, okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. But I mean, I think it'll be judged on who comes in. If Bielsa comes in, then they're all a bunch of geniuses. If Ricardo Lavolpe comes in, they'll be like, what was the point in that? What was the point in the interim? You know what I mean? It's,
and that's where I at least will keep the hopes up that somehow maybe something has changed, or at least this interim is better news. We should have known.
It gives more time. It gives more time for the search, and I think the search is more complicated than it seems. Because we've placed Guillermo Cantú, the Secretary General, already in Buenos Aires, in Chile, in Sao Paulo, and I don't think Cantú has even done those trips. Osorio came up, from us, a Spanish newspaper that now also has a group in Mexico. But, we really don't know. I mean, what I do get is that by bringing in Tuca, they are kind of assuring that there will be a foreign coach coming to the Mexico job. That's my impression.
That's exactly the way that I see things, too.
But if not, that would be ridiculous if we don't have a foreign coach. Because now I feel like our expectations have been heightened. If we have Tuca now, because actually Tuca is a decent option. I think he's considering him being an interim coach. I think he's good, despite all the jokes we make online and all the memes and all. I posted that video of him and so many other people of the video of him just yelling at his players. And it's he gets a lot of jokes of him hiding behind the behind the chairs. But I think he's a good coach. But if we don't get someone bigger afterwards, it would look very, very odd.
It's just, I'm going to keep my hopes up. I'm going to keep that there is a back room of Bielsa tapes that have been sent over. And he's in Argentina, in Rosario, with his glasses on, just studying everybody, just going over, okay. Cuauhtemoc Blanco is this type of player. I want, Bofo. He's crossed off finally. Someone that really, 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 goes in. And that's what I'm hoping for, that in October he'll come in and he'll sit down with Deseo Maria with his glasses and say, how much is the FMF worth to you? And he'll give the same Chivas talk that he had, with it, and hopefully we're able to sign him in October, ready for November. That's what I'm hoping for. But who knows what can happen? Before we go into Tom.
Yeah, there's a quick report there's a report from an Argentine journalist down there in Periódico AM, I think. It came from down there that Bielsa was asked for tapes of Mexico's under-20 games Now, it's either a really, really well-invented story that would fit perfectly into Bielsa's, kind of path of thinking. That he's it's not even the Liga MX games. It's the under-20s games that he's interested in.
But he would. He would.
But he would.
He probably would. Yeah, he probably
That's
would.
the thing about Bielsa. He wants to study all the players. What Vergara said that he came up with the youth. And that's how he started. If you remember, with Mules, he started with the youth.
And that's what he did with Atlas. He did the same thing in both clubs. He sent out networks to all these unknown places where clubs weren't reaching out. I mean, the classic examples are Jared Borghetti, because he's from Sinaloa, where baseball's like the number one sport. And Borghetti actually says that it was because of Bielsa's scouting network that he got discovered with Atlas. Yeah. I mean, it was all down to him.
He did exactly what he did in Argentina, 50 different little graph and spots, and he went with his, and he went to visit them.
He's probably analyzing the show, too. He probably has videos of this show. She's like, let's see what these Mexican soccer guys have to say.
All right, let's talk about the guy. Let's talk about Mr. Tuca Ferreti. Let's talk about, a prolific coach, a winner, coach that knows the Mexican game, that's played it, that today it was seen as a totally different face. If I can name one person that's always been against, what the national team is doing in coaching-wise and in the media, it would have to be Mr. Tuca Ferreti from all that he said. Barrendero, if anyone knows, the Partido Moleros came from Tuca. And now he puts on the jacket, ladies first. We see a different guy. It looks like almost a totally different, person. But let's go ahead and talk about Tuca Ferreti and what we know, and what he can bring. Naib, you're all about tactics. You see, you watch it. Tell me, are we able to see a different Tuca Ferreti team right away if he steps in the next couple games, or are we still going to see Piojo until the U.S. game in his tactics? What do you say?
I think there was a question asked along those lines during the press conference, and he was straightforward, and he said that he wasn't going to change much. I mean, he can't be doing that many inventions in a way. But then you see the fullbacks that Miguel Herrera had, which are Paul Aguilar and Layun, and you kind of put yourself in the shoes of Tuca Ferreti. And I think Ferreti is not a big fan of those type of fullbacks that like to go up a lot. He really likes the fullbacks that are more consistent on the defensive end. Not so much to go up to the final third. I mean, that's why when you saw the Libertadores match, that's why Aquino and Dam were the starters, because those were full out on the wings. So I think we will see something similar that in El Tri. I don't think we will see that much of a radical change. I think the base will be of the Gold Cup. Maybe just the positioning will be different. Maybe a back line of 4 will be precise, I'd say, and a little bit of more, maybe, 2 central defensive midfielders and the wingers, and then, one forward behind a second striker behind the main striker. Something of that sort. But the thing with Tuca, I think that it's a little bit, to be a little bit pessimistic in a way, which I really don't like being, is that the last 2 finals that he played against America, he lost it 3-1. It was against Turco Mohamed. And the Copa Libertadores, he lost it against Muñeco Gallardo's River Plate. A coach that basically has 4 years of experience as a coach. And Tuca has 24 years of experience. So what does that say about Tuca? That, there's a little bit of a lack of creativity in the way that he, kind of manages his teams.
Yeah, especially those 2 finals. I mean, in the America, with the red cards and everything, I guess, but he was outcoached. He didn't, especially in the Libertadores, and we talked a lot about it. But Cesar, at least formation-wise, kind of on the same thing with Naim.
Yeah.
Is this something that the national team is going to have to adapt, or is it going to be something that, like, not necessarily a sudden change, but from a back on a 5 to a 4? Some people say he plays a little defensive. Is that something to worry about before we get to the U.S. game?
No, I think I don't think, like Naib said, I don't think we'll see too many changes. When I kind of looked at, like, if we were to use like a 4-4-2, which I would imagine Tuca would like, I can't see too many changes from what we currently have. I mean, strikers, you have players like Chicharito, you have Vela, you have Gio, you have Jimenez. Maybe we'll see someone sneaking in like a naturalizado, like Tito Villa, maybe, because he's doing really well right now, but he's not going to start. I mean, you look at the midfield. I mean, I think if I was to guess like a big difference in the starting lineup, I think he's going to keep that base from the Gold Cup. But what I would not be surprised about, and I was thinking about this when I was watching Tigres play last Friday, is if he's going to start someone like Torres Nilo or Aquino on the left-hand side. If he would play Aquino as a left mid and Torres Nilo as at left back. I don't think Layun's been that impressive recently. I wouldn't be too surprised if Torres Nilo was back there, and I wouldn't be surprised if in his four-man midfield, maybe he can have Guardado and Gallo in the middle. Maybe he'll have Herrera to the right, and maybe he'll have Aquino on the left-hand side. So I wonder if he thinks about that connection that Aquino and Torres Nilo could potentially have on the left-hand side. But other than that, I can't really see too many changes. I think it's going to be maybe you'll see some options on the bench. That'll be a little bit. Maybe you'll see some more Tigres options on the bench. But I can't, other than Torres Nilo and maybe Aquino, those that connection they have on the left-hand side, I can't really see too many changes.
Yeah, and I think I share your point into that. What we'll see, especially during the first couple games. Obviously, the formation's a 5-3-2 in that offense. So we'll see what he keeps doing. Tom, specifically about the press conference, what were your takes on the press conference and what he said? I mean, key points on it. I mean, other than Pulido has no chance of playing in the national team. Key things that you took from the press conference today.
Yeah, well, obviously he's got no interest in more than the 4 games. That he's not getting paid for this, so he's doing it out of gratitude for what the Mexican games given him, which is a bit weird because he might as well have got something, even if it wasn't a massive salary. Naturalized players are in, possibly. I don't think there are any really that. Because people forget with naturalized Mexicans, because people on my Twitter mention Benedetto and stuff.
Yeah, Benedetto. No.
I mean, but there's a FIFA rule that says they have to live in the country 5 years, so they might be Mexican. Yeah. But I mean, that's an extreme kind of like, you have to really prove that case, and very few do. You know what I mean? The European players who aren't getting minutes will be considered. So players like, especially Ochoa, who's just not being considered at all right now. Malaga, he's got a chance. Chicharito, not much for United, but he'll be in there. So he's not got that hard line where if you're not playing, you're definitely not coming. Thought that was interesting. And
I wonder if we knew, and I was talking about this before about the letters, that needed to be out last Sunday. So I'm sure the FMF already sent it out, regardless if it was going to be Tuca or not, to get the okay from all the clubs. Villarreal, what other ones were leaked? Not leaked, but they said they always do.
Yeah, but as I understood the press conference, Ferreti didn't confirm that they would necessarily be joining the team.
Yeah, that all of the Europeos will come. That's not confirmed.
Because you can always, there's still a lot of time. You have to advise them a couple of weeks in advance, but I think you can then say, oh, you know what, we don't need you now.
Can you really?
I believe so. Yeah.
Looking at coaching and stuff, it's not like. I think the reason why it's not necessarily for players, it's not necessarily for the national team going, oh, I'm going to have them, but it's for logistics of things that they're going to fly and getting, if you can't wait, hey, when's the last day you can tell a team? I think it was if they're not needed at all because of schedules, of planning, of getting air ticket or whatever.
I mean, you can cancel that. You know what I mean? I think they can. I mean, if there's still time now. Tuca's in place. It's still quite a way to go before the game, you know what I mean? So I'm sure
it's a week and a half.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of how these things work, in terms of teams traveling, I mean, these guys are going all over the place all the time. Like a week and a half is like a long time. I don't think there's something. It'll be interesting.
I think they'll come.
It'd be really surprising if the people who were mentioned, like Jonah and Ochoa, if they weren't actually called up in the end. I think the only one who was already called up was maybe like Rafa. Maybe he's the only one. And Rafa was
Rafa was confirmed.
I think he would be the only one that'd be a little up in the air, but
no, but Raul Jimenez. I mean, we've not heard his situation, but has he done anything recently?
He had a shot on that last game.
I feel like they're all going to come. Tuca's going to talk to everybody. He's going to see everyone. This is the only time he can see them before the U.S. game.
Well, he said 23 players for these 2 games, and he's going to pick the 23 players of the Gold Cup and the Copa America list. So I mean, that tells you a little bit about what it's at stake. I mean, it's what, like 60 players or something if we combine both tournaments, and he's only going to call 23.
I mean, I think officially he's going to call 23, but he can call more players. For them to come to the concentración, and I think that's what's going to happen. He wants to see him, train. He wants to see who's going to make it. And since we have no time, get everybody, and he's going to name everybody. They're going to come to the concentración, and I think he's going to name the 23 players that are going to go. These are friendlies anyways. They're not like a tournament that he needs to come. There's probably going to be 6 subs. So I think the 23 to coming for, obviously for the U.S. game, but I wouldn't be. I would think you'd want to see everybody. Everybody flies in. If you make it to the 23 that are going to suit up, great. If he wants to see somebody else for the Argentina game, great. And then obviously the other game against Panama. And I think finally the U.S. game will be it.
But I honestly don't think he's going to be that experimental. I think Tuca will already have a fixed idea of what he wants from this team, and I think he'll have a very, very good idea right now of who's going to start against the United States, his formation, how he wants to play, even going into these friendlies. I think that's the type of coach he is. You know what I mean? And I don't think he's like Herrera. It's like everybody can come in. Go on, Naeem.
Yeah. The less players, the better. I think for Tuca in a way, because it's a short period of time. So I mean, you just want to click the starting 11 right away.
And I think obviously you kind of know, from what he's gonna, unless it's some kind of bad form, looking at a player like Carlos Vela, looking at that didn't do well. Joanny Dos Santos that didn't play the Gold Cup but's doing well now in the MLS. I think interested to see what Tuca's going to come in and is going to line up. So I think that was
for me. I think the interesting things are we mentioned it. I think Torres Nilo, I'd put money on him starting. I think he's a really good player. He's such a fixture and so important for Tuca's team. I think the right back as well. I think Naeem mentioned, and that's. Paul Aguilar, I don't think he's going to do it for Tuca. But then you look who's next, and there's not really many Mexican right backs right now that are outstanding. So you look at Israel Jimenez for Tigres, just played the Libertadores. Finally, think maybe he's got a chance. With obviously Dueñas there, who couldn't cover, who's not a natural right back, but he could do a job. And I think the interesting thing is going to be up front. Is going to be fascinating because say he plays a 4-4-2, a variation of 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1 with 2 central midfielders that primarily defend. One obviously has more license to go forward, but basically the defensive midfielders. And I think that's the platform of the team. But moving forward, it'll be interesting to see how he's going to get in Chicharito, Vela, Jesus Corona, Héctor Herrera, Andres Guardado, and Giovanni Dos Santos all into the team. Because obviously Giovanni is going through a really good time right now for Los Angeles Galaxy. He's confident, He's not. I know a lot of people on my Twitter say, "Oh, the league's terrible." He's not gone from being a poor player, a top player 2 months ago to a bad one now after he's scoring goals and assists. He's still a very good player. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how Tuca Ferreti does that. It's going to be interesting to see what he does at centre back because Diego Reyes had a great debut for Real Sociedad. Héctor Moreno came through Pumas with Tuca Ferreti, and Moreno loves him. Moreno absolutely loves Tuca, and Tuca he's a sure starter for me. So then next to him, does he go for Massa, the experience? Does he go for Juninho, who is a big favourite of his, who's also Mexican, and if I remember rightly, has lived in Mexico for 5 years. Reyes, Massa, Juninho, who else? You know what I mean? I think that's going to be absolutely fascinating as well. The defensive midfield positions. I mean, I'd bet on Guardado and Héctor Herrera, but does that provide enough defensive cover? I don't know.
Or it could be Guardado or Jonathan.
Yeah,
it could be. Yeah, but then what do you do with Herrera?
Move him to the right, I'd say.
Yeah.
Which didn't work so well in the.
But then again, maybe he'd want to have Jurgen Damm over there.
Yeah.
That's another, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've got a rough team for in goal. I'm not sure. I think let's say Ochoa. You just don't know with Tuca. He might pick Jonathan or Orozco. Honestly, I don't know. I think he's the type of manager. He might have something really fixed in his head and absolutely go with it. I do believe that.
I know that we've said that, but Tuca's always been kind of a European. The game he's on the side of Carlos Vela and Ochoa. He said some stuff like that, not on the. So I bet even though they're not playing, he sees the talent that they have, and hopefully. So I think you go with Ochoa. But yeah, go ahead, Tom. You're about to do a lineup that you have.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, right now I don't see much difference. Like Talavera, I think is absolutely great goalkeeper, and he's shown consistently now for a couple of years that he is the best in the league. So yeah, the goalkeeper. Then I'd possibly Israel Jimenez, the right back, and then at the centre back, Reyes, Massa, Moreno, Torres Nilo, left back, Herrera, Guardado, central midfield, Giovanni Dos Santos on the right, Tecatito Corona on the left, Vela and Chicharito up front. Obviously, my big doubt there is on the wings, Giovanni Dos Santos, Jesus Corona. Are they going to provide enough defensively for what Tuca wants? But then you look at the Tigres team, and you've got Aquino and Dam, who aren't particularly well known for the defense either. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a good team. I mean, you look at that team and you think that's a solid team to head to the US game.
And I know a lot of people are going back to, but I think Tuca isn't as defensive as people remember, as Tuca's teams are, because looking at the Tigres, just like and you hit it right on the head. Yeah. Looking at it, I think it's changed. The Tuca teams now are playing forward, are playing to score, are playing to win, instead of that old Ferreti defensive kind of parking the bus style that wasn't generating so much offense. I think this is where he's going to go, and he knows he's got those four.
I think that consistently over the last few years now in the Liga MX, Tigres have had the highest possession stats of any team. I mean, they regularly getting 60% plus in games. I mean, they really dominate possession in a league where teams like to have possession, where teams like to have the ball, a technical league where, and that's impressive. But I think the criticism of Tuca recently has been that the possession is a bit sterile. It's one of those possession-based systems that isn't incisive enough, and it's almost defensive in its nature. It's almost like we look after the ball. If we have the ball, you can't score, rather than we've got the ball, let's go straight for goal. Like, for example, Miguel Herrera. That's more of his style. Let's go more vertically and attack.
He said something about equilibrium today also in the press conference, something about balance. Because
he said I'm more style than balance. I'm not into style, but more into balance, I believe is what he said.
Yeah. And right now, Tigres is actually the team that has attempted and completed the most passes in Liga MX. And that's considering that the first two games in Liga MX, they played them with bench players and bench of the bench players. So, I mean, I think the idea does come down to even the youth teams in Tigres about the possession. And Palma Rivas is the player that has completed the most passes, one of the top three, definitely.
Yeah, no way. Maybe he'll be the starting centre-back.
No, tampoco.
I mean, that's a good point. Any surprises that you see? I mean, Tom, you mentioned Juninho. I know he said that he wants to take the Gold Cup and also the Gold Cup and then the Copa America squad. But any other players that you have that you might see join in?
Damian Alvarez, Jürgen Damm, Aquino. I mean, not massive surprises any of those, but it doesn't surprise me. And I think Cesar mentioned Tito Villa. Mm-hmm. Why not? I don't know. Israel Jimenez. Anyone else?
Definitely. I mean, I don't see the thing with all these names that you brought up, Tom. I mean, I do see there's definitely evidence or ways to support the idea, but I don't think he will be. Yeah. He will try to bring all these new players in like Damian, maybe Juninho, but I even see that impossible because I think Reyes, Moreno, Massa. I think you have three center backs there, and you can pick two to make the back line of four. And even Paul Aguilar. I said in the beginning, I could see him starting in front of, for example, Jimenez, or even because with Nacho Ambriz right now he's playing in a back line of four, and it's working. Aguilar, so it depends a little bit there. The thing with Gio, I think that's actually a good point as well. But at the same time, I do see still Vela and Chicharito being more of the a little bit ahead of Giovanni, I'd say. Even if Giovanni can be scoring 15 goals in MLS, I think Vela and Chicharito are still one step in front of Giovanni. Giovanni will be good coming off the bench, in my opinion.
But what about on the wing?
On the wing,
yeah.
Yeah, what do you have there, Cesar, on the wing?
Well, see, I was just writing it down right now, and like, I know, as we've mentioned, I think Torres Nilo is definitely a starter on the left back position. I could see someone like Moreno, Rafa in the middle defense, potentially Israel Jimenez, but who knows with Bal Aguilar. The wings, it's hard. As I mentioned, I think, and like I said, I watched that game last Friday, and they've done pretty well there. Like Aquino and Torres Nilo, I think they've worked very well. Torres Nilo has connected very well with Aquino. And it was some of the more. I think they connected one of them like most amount of passes in that last game. So I actually would not be very surprised if I was to see them on the wing. The other wing, it's hard. You could potentially put Herrera over there, but I think Herrera works better as a more central mid, and I don't like him when he's more so on that wings. You could try someone like Tecatito who could switch from left wing and the right wing. So you could try that. You could also try Jonathan Dos Santos, but I'm not sure how I feel about him being a winger. I think he's a good, more so just a right mid, but as a higher pressing wing, I don't know. That's my big question mark right there. Like I said, maybe we can have someone. Maybe that's where Jurgen Damm can go. But what I was mentioned before, yeah, I think it's more so the big change is going to be Aquino and Torres Nilo on the left hand side.
Aquino.
Got a message here from Steve Graff saying, has anybody mentioned Severo Meza's name as a good outside back?
He's been on the down low, I'd say.
Yeah.
After the Neymar,
Yeah. That was his moment of fame.
I'm thinking Tuca's gonna go in and have like I don't know why, and this is just something that I see. It's just kind of like a Giovanni Peralta up front, like
I honestly reckon he's going to do something a bit mad as well, because he said didn't he, one of his phrases, what was it, something about the can't remember the phrase in Spanish, but it was he's going to upset some people, like you can't kind of satisfy everyone.
Diferentes colores. That's why there's different colors or something like that, so everyone can be happy.
That's what I'm telling you. I feel he's going to come in and he's going to look at who's in rhythm, who's coming in. I think for the U.S. game it'll be all right because they already have 4 games. Whoever's two, but Giovanni Peralta, the players that are playing that he wants to see, and then you start getting in some of the Europeos in there, Guardado, Héctor Herrera, Jonathan Dos Santos. I think they're all will be starter. We kind of figure out who's where. Tecatito Corona, and then in the bottom, Reyes, who's doing well, and then Moreno on the other sides. I could definitely see a Torres Nilo. So kind of, I'm feeling there, but I feel like our forwards are going to be, because Chicharito and also, maybe even Vela. I think I don't know. I feel like he's going to have someone represent Mexico from La Liga MX, just because.
Tito Villa, there you go. He's going to be starting up there. Tito. He had that hat trick last Friday, man. He's been, how long has he been in Mexico? Since like what? I think I was like 6 years.
Yeah, seven.
He's been there a while. So.
Yeah, Osvaldo Alanis is in there too.
At right back, you could say Raúl Deditos Lopez, but he's coming out of an injury.
Yeah,
that would be technically to the U.S. game.
Yeah, the same thing with if we're bringing up Alanis too. Both have injury problems. We need players who are ready almost now. So I don't know if we'd be patient.
Yeah, there's a young right back at Monterrey called Osorio, who's been playing.
Ricardo Osorio?
I was gonna say. I was actually thinking about that. I was like,
I'm thinking Tuca years, 35. It's not that old. It's coming into his prime.
37. Tuca played until he was 37. All right, age does not matter in football.
I was telling Jason we're gonna bring out like Chaco Jimenez. We're gonna bring him back, Chaco Jimenez, and see what he can do.
Interesting. What's going on in the chat? Let's see. We got Mr. Alex, Steve Graff, last word, that is Jose Sainz, John Cervantes, Steve Graff did mention Severo Mesa's name, Raúl Barraza saying him and Zavala have fallen off, Herrera and Jonathan as well, Alanis, one game Tuca's team was in Yedlin's coming out party. Chicha overrated. You know, it's always fun at the it's always fun in the chat, having fun.
Hey, I tell you who we haven't mentioned so far, and that's Leon's midfield, Luis Montes and Carlos Peña. Especially.
Yeah, that's a great point too.
I didn't want to jinx it.
Hey, they've been doing well, dude. Yeah,
Leave
that
it
midfield's
alone.
been great.
Leave it alone.
That little Mexican. You know, why don't we just bring those three midfielders? Like, go back to five.
Perfect.
The three of them in there.
The more playing time they get together, the better. Yeah, the Leon. You know, obviously that little midfield. Vasquez coming in. Goulet now playing well with.
Bring him back whenever there's a crisis in the national team. Bring back the Leon boys.
Nacho Gonzalez, bring him in.
Someone get your on the phone. Is he American yet? I don't know. Has he been captain?
You know, it's I'm going back to the news. I like today that he did say, Naive, you mentioned a little bit. He did say that he's got nothing to do with, like, very adamant. I kind of like that. Very adamant about Tigres. I felt like Tigres fans were just kind of thrown off, like they're the wife, and then all of a sudden some new, affairs coming in, and it's just going like, I have nothing to do with you for the next 4 weeks. I'm with her. I feel like Tigres fans, if you're out there, you're listening. Like, how did you feel when he said, I want nothing to do with Tigres?
But he also reassured them at the same time. Said, "It's just 4 games. Just 4 games. I'll be back. I got a contract with them. Blah blah blah. It's just 4 games." But then the more I think about that, like, what if he does an excellent job? What if he fantastic with beautiful stuff? If it's just the most amazing soccer we've seen.
Tom, Naive, you know it's going to happen. You know he's going to play well. You know, for whatever reason, just watch. The luck will be that this is a great team, and we beat the U.S., and we haven't beaten the U.S. In USO since 2011, and it comes out, and, well, why not?
It's interesting because we haven't even mentioned Mejia Barón as part of this whole deal, and, you have to go back to 1994. And it was the other way around. Mejia Barón was a coach and Tuca was the assistant. And now and now is Tuca the coach and Mejia Barón the.
That's kind of cool. I don't know.
I mean, from the people from that time, when the people that saw that World Cup closely, I mean, there is still some grudge, of the way that they use Hugo Sanchez, or were the substitutions correct, It's a new challenge, but at the same time, there are really knowledgeable people in Mexican football. I think you can negate that, and I think in a way it's a positive. I think the three needed some type of discipline as well, because with Piojo Herrera it got to a point that it was a little bit too laid back, in my opinion. And now with Tuca and Mejia Barón, I think it's a little bit of a more disciplined and tight regime in a way. Hopefully not as strict as it was with Chepo.
Yeah. We have a little side conversation going on the side. That's why I think we're all going in. Sorry about that, but it's reversing the roles. Obviously Mejia Barón coming in, which I think it was cool, but I think it was a little odd. All of a sudden Mejia Barón his name is thrown in there to help Tuca. As far as the relations that they have, bringing someone with experience, Naive, I agree with you in what they do know, but I guess it was just, was that Tuca, saying, hey, Mejia, remember when we were together in '94? Or was that the FMF? I just thought it was a little bit odd doing that, and that he would need someone like that. One thing that he did say, it's not like he doesn't communicate with Chepo, with Piojo, with whatever. So I just thought it was a little odd bringing Barón. I don't know what you guys thought about that.
I'll tell you, Mejia Barón won't be picking up the phone to Piojo. I'll tell you that much. After the comments he's made, he could have been sued for those comments. I'm surprised he didn't get sued about sexual deviances. I mean, that was awful. I mean, really, he should never have been named Mexico boss just for those. No, I don't know. That's what I think anyway. I don't think he became publicly.
Or maybe it was Tuca. Maybe it was Tuca that said, "Hey, the person that did this." But again,
and also one quick, another quick thought that just came up right now. is that we're talking about Tuca, and yeah, he has become a little bit offensive-minded in a way, but I think he still has that, his nature is a little bit being defensive. And if you're going to bring in Bielsa, this guy is attack-minded. So, I mean, it's going to be this little chapter in which El Tri is going to be a little bit defensive. And then all of a sudden, for the World Cup qualifiers, which would not be easy because I think it's El Salvador or Curaçao first, and then El Tri has to go to Honduras against Pintos Honduras, which I think it's a little bit of a bar up. That would be a big change for the team in general, I'd say, if they change kind of the idea of how to play.
Well, yeah, and obviously, and it's also different from what they're coming from with Miguel Herrera.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the only thing that made sense to me about La Volpe, is that it would have been a smooth transition in terms of playing style. But yeah, and yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right, Cesar, about the. It is going to be absolutely fascinating if he does do well. What is going to happen there? Will Tuca, and I tend to think he does have the kind of personality to say no, but there'll be so much pressure for him to take the job if he gets that ticket. Forget about Argentina and Trinidad. If he wins against the United States 4-0, which is possible.
Pónganse lo que se les hincha un huevo.
It is possible that they could defeat the United States 3-4-0. They've got the quality in the team to do it on the day. And then what will happen? And how will the federation look if the new coach taking over with those difficult qualification games? Loses.
Yeah.
It's gonna be another mess. I don't know. I don't know. I can't. It's difficult to. You want it to work out, but it's
I need you guys
to see it working out.
So we're saying it's a lose-lose, that if we do really well, we're going to wonder what could have been if he wasn't an interim manager. But if he does badly, and then we lose against the U.S., so it's a lose-lose either way.
Yes. I mean, everybody to just record this right now. Tuca is going to be in 2018. This is going to happen. Someone's going to come in. He's going to do a bad job. And you know who they're going to name for that last year of the Hex where we always do bad? Tuca Ferreti.
Hey, that's after his Tigre contract ends in 3 years.
Yes,
perfect,
yes.
perfect.
It's perfect. I'm telling you, I already thought it out. Even if Bielsa comes in after 2 weeks, he's gonna go, I don't want this, or anybody else that's gonna come in is gonna realize everything. Tuca's gonna be the savior. He's gonna be in 2018, fifth round, quinto partido, and there it is. Record this. Remember that Mexican Soccer Show. Fun stuff. And we've all said, I think it's going to be interesting. When it was named last week, it wasn't a surprise, but yet at the same time, I think everyone's a little excited to see what Tuca can bring finally in the national team. A coach that's been playing for so long with Mexico, and also obviously has had his whole career and knows the game. I'm excited to be there at the press conference. I don't know if you guys are, Tom. Cesar and I, but I think it's going to be fun being there and trying to ask him a question and see what he'll come up with already.
Yeah, it should be fascinating. Yeah, just like one more thing about Tuca. Just I mean, like as we've talked about, like he's been the conversation for so long. Just because this is long experience with Liga MX. He's been coaching since the early '90s. He's been playing since the '70s. So I mean, like I said, he's always been the conversation. He's always been one of those candidates. So it's going to be, like I said, interesting to see what he does. We'll see. We'll see who he calls up. Yeah.
I just can't wait till his phrases.
Terminé el asunto. Ponga su computadora.
Can you just wait?
No.
All right, I will.
Did you create a soundboard, or is there already a soundboard out there?
There's a whole soundboard of just Tuca.
Que ustedes empiecen a inventar jaladas, que esto, que el otro, que yo los veo. No es cierto. Yo nada más pongo orden.
All right. Let's go ahead and let's.
It's a Tuca show.
Definitely gonna be a lot of fun with Tuca. I mean, let's see what it is.
Yeah, there's an interesting video on YouTube actually. It's about 30 minutes long of Tuca. Well, it's partly of Tuca talking about what happened in 2013 after Vucetich got fired. He's going absolutely crazy, just slamming everything about the federation, the job. He's like, I might as well go for the job now. I mean, they've disrespected all my colleagues in the league. Now they've gone through Chepo, Vucetich, they've gone through Tena, every single one they've gone through. I might as well go for it now. I'm putting myself up there. I want the job. just ripping it, just being so sarcastic. And I mean, every time he comes to Guadalajara, go to the games, and the press conferences are brilliant. I mean, they're absolutely really entertaining. And I don't quite agree with what we said at the beginning of the show, that he was that different today. I think that it's just that, because I mean, he gives press conferences 2-3 times a week. I think in general he's like he was today. Charming, humorous. But I think it's rare these days that he goes absolutely crazy. It's just that when he does, it goes on the news. You know what I mean? When he does every couple of months, it's there, so everyone assumes he's like that all the time. But he does that in the locker, so to speak. I hope it comes out at least once though in his national team today.
Oh yes.
Goes crazy. I hope it's not me though.
Primero las damas. I gotta start working on his voice. That way we can.
Honestly, you've got all your impressions down. You got to work on the Tuca one.
I'll work on it. All right, guys. Other than we'll turn the page on Tuca Ferreti. I know we already spent a little just 10 minutes on we have left on the show, but interested to see news. Right, his team's gonna come out on Thursday, correct?
The camps and I guess the first start of his camp starts on Sunday, August 30th.
Okay. Europeos will join in right before the Trinidad game, 2-3 days, obviously because of the rule. So he's gonna have the Liga MX guys for a little longer, correct? I think a little longer.
I think a day longer, yeah.
Yeah,
probably fly out on the Monday.
Next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The game's already next week. I keep forgetting. Interesting to see how is that. So we'll obviously keep you guys updated on our Twitters with all the Tuca news. We'll have one more game before the Trinidad. I mean, one more show before the Trinidad game to obviously talk about what's going on. But let's turn the page really quick on the Europeos. If you guys have time, the season has started for a lot of our Europeos. Cesar, you look at the Mexicans abroad a lot. What do we have to show for this season? Highlights and just kind of a quick rundown. And Naive, you have worked with obviously in Spain and you're seeing. I'd love to get your input too. Cesar, Mexicans abroad. We're looking at Chicharito finally getting minutes, so let's go with him first, and then kind of scale it down really quick.
Yeah, he finally got some minutes. It was only about 23 minutes. United were struggling for a goal against Tottenham, and Chicharito had a key opportunity when he had a one-on-one against the goalkeeper, and he missed that. But obviously, I think he needs more playing time. I think he should at least got a bigger role in the Champions League game against Club Brugge last week. So as of right now, it does not bode well for Chicharito, even though Rooney is struggling right now in United. I think I saw some crazy stat, I put it up on Twitter, that Rooney in 2015 has only had one game where he's had more than one shot on target, and that was back in February, which is crazy to hear about. Yeah.
Tom, this is your team they're talking about. Tom,
yeah. Well,
does Chicharito? I mean, are you going to see it again 4 years ago, Chicharito, where he's going to get his start halfway down the field? I mean, down the season and then take over again? Is that a possibility?
Possibility with Van Gaal, I think it is a possibility depending on how the transfer window shuts in 1 week. So we'll see if they bring anyone else in. But yeah, it is possible. At the minute, what he has to do is take his chances, and that's what he did last time. And I know it's almost unfair. I think Chicharito's almost trying too hard at the minute. It's almost like he's trying to do too many things. Because he knows his minutes are so limited, and it's understandable. But he had a big chance, and if he'd have taken it, then everyone would have been talking about him, and Van Gaal would have been, this guy just won us the game, but he didn't, and he'll be on the bench again. But yeah, it's not a great situation at the minute, to be honest.
But the thing with what I take from that weekend, the game against Newcastle, and the block was great. The save from Krul was great.
It was a good save.
I think Van Gaal recognized the effort from Chicharito after the match in the interviews that the coaches do, with the TV network and stuff. I think this time it was like BT Sport or something like that. But I think that's a step ahead. One of the things that I want to point out right now is that Chicharito is challenging himself to prove Louis Van Gaal wrong, and I think other players have done it in the past. Today I read an article from Sid Lowe, talking about the Sporting de Gijón coach, Abelardo. He was a center back for Barcelona for a lot of years. And Diego Van Gaal, when he came into Barcelona, he told Abelardo, you're never going to play because you're not good enough. So what happened? Abelardo took that series, and all of a sudden he was one of the center backs that played the most minutes with Van Gaal. You know, I do see that as a chance for Chicharito to prove Louis Van Gaal wrong. And if he does it, it's gonna be something huge because we see Giovanni over here all relaxed in MLS scoring goals in bunches and not challenging himself in Europe and proving the European coach wrong.
Do you really think that Chicharito is going to get a starting role over Rooney, though?
No, I mean,
they can play together.
Injury
they played together before.
I mean, Rooney's not playing well at all in that position, and he's only playing with one striker. And you know, the argument is that Rooney's best position is a number 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's true. No, that's entirely true. Just like the old days when Chicharito first joined, and they would have.
Yeah, I seriously see his first season being exactly. I think towards the end of the season, I think Chicharito's going to be in.
He's playing well.
Especially if there's an injury.
Yeah.
Which was Berbatov, if you remember, 4 years ago. That's how he started. And then who was there in the Champions League? Biggest game in Manchester United. That was Mr. Chicharito facing Messi. Cesar, we'll go on with you again.
Yeah.
Your next Mexican abroad. I have about 5 more minutes, so we only have to pick a few of important ones.
Really quickly.
Ulises Davila, tell me what. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So Cesar Romero, he's no, I'm kidding. No, it's a duo. Really quickly. Carlos Vela and Diego Reyes both got the start for Real Sociedad. It's no surprise for Carlos Vela. I mean, it was a typical Carlos Vela game. He was dangerous. He was getting fouled and knocked down.
Is he a little overweight?
Vela, I don't know why people are talking. I don't see him as overweight. I don't know why people keep talking. I think, but even if he is overweight, he played pretty well for an overweight dude.
I just feel like he's
But the bigger story was Diego Reyes getting the start. I don't think he was tested that much, but it was nice. I mean, the little time that he played the full game, but the little time he did actually have to defend, he did a good job, and I think personally that's good because we've been waiting for years for Diego Reyes to finally step up, but this could be the season for him over with Real Sociedad.
Yeah, he's received great comments from Íñigo Martínez, who's the other center back. And Íñigo Martínez, he was one stop the next Carles Puyol. So I think in the future, Íñigo Martínez could be one of the good center backs for Spain. And they do make a good duo, a good tandem. Mois has also spoke well of him. Xavi Prieto, the captain, has spoke well of him. And I think it's a chance for Diego Reyes to mature as a person and as a player, I think.
Yeah, that's a big opportunity for him.
I just hope Diego Reyes matures in his body. Look, he's still
hopefully he hits puberty at some point.
Yeah, like finally, maybe you can give him some tips right there, Cesar. Naive, what's going on in Spain, in Villarreal? Questions, Jonathan Dos Santos staying. Could there be a possibility that he could leave the club?
I have that's a good question. My sources in Villarreal told me. My sources in Villarreal told me that he's staying, but it's a little bit alarming that he didn't even enter the call-up for this first game, but next game.
Injury? What's going on with that, Naive?
Late preseason, he came in late because of the Gold
Cup.
Yeah, he was partying in Cancun, probably. Yeah.
He was in Cancun.
Yeah, and I think, but the next game he should enter the call-up because Bruno Soriano, the captain, got a red card in the game against Betis. So we'll see there. But but it looks like he's staying.
Question the way he ended Villarreal. Would you think there'd be that big of a change? I mean, I thought he ended well and he playing well for him to not get it. Have we seen him on a bench more often in this season? We're going to see him more, or is he considered more of the person that's going to be in the starting 11?
I think he should be in starting 11. I mean, I think he does. He has shown, abilities. He played as the right mid last season, most of the last season, and this season, there's a possibility that he can be a central defensive midfielder because he does it so well. That's his natural position.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I mean, I do understand that after what happened with Gio and Marcelino, there could be some type of break there, with the Dos Santos.
I think he's got a challenge on me. I think he's got a real challenge on for the start of this season.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah,
and then just kind of in the show, guys, with obviously Gio playing in supposedly the most historic match for MLS. I kept hearing that all over the place between the New York team, and obviously Gio's LA Galaxy. But Gio with great numbers already. How many assists?
Yeah. I think he has, I want to say 3 goals and 3 assists, if I remember correctly. I want to say 3 goals and 3 assists.
3 goals. Sure. One of the goals was...
But in all competitions, though, including the...
In all competitions. So he's got 3 and played 4 games. The Gio show, I mean, 5-1 was the... I mean, I actually watched the game. But in what he's doing, and it looks like just LA Galaxy is just...
He's having a great time out there. It was great because at one point Pirlo was trying to like mark him in this one point, and like Pirlo was like a couple steps behind him. Someone gave him the pass, and then like instead of trying to chase down Gio, he just stopped, and then he tried calling for like an offside, like looked over to the refs and just lifted his hand.
I just see so many players frustrated. I mean, especially in New York. I mean, David Villa looked like they passed him the ball, and he's just like, I'm done. Down 3-0. Down. Interesting to see. He's having a lot of fun, scoring a lot of games. I said it on Twitter. I mean, with these numbers, he should definitely make a jump to Europe next year. Right? I mean, a team like Villarreal is looking at a guy.
Him and Robbie Keane in tandem.
Sure. There you go.
There must be a market somewhere.
Why not? I'm excited to see. You know what? And this is how they got us. MLS. They're always thinking. The CONCACAF champions, is going to come out. Those LA Galaxy versus any Mexican team, everybody's going to be watching. And maybe this is the year for the LA Galaxy to go. I see those defense. I think it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be fun. Do we want Gio? Do we want a Mexican team? Do we want the LA Galaxy to make history and be the one team that beats and goes to the CONCACAF Championship because Gio's in it? And that should be fun.
Unless it's the Quakes, no, I'm not rooting for any MLS team.
But I mean, I think this year, especially more than other years, Tigres in America. I mean, you can't get much stronger in terms of Mexican representation over the last 10, 15 years. I mean, in terms of how good those teams are, not just in terms of the 11, but MLS always complains that they don't have a real depth in the squad. We'll look at Tigres in America. I mean, they are really deep in terms of the depth. So I think the LA Galaxy might have a lot of ambition in the CONCACAF Champions League, but two very, very strong Mexican teams, and
what other two teams are?
Querétaro and Santos.
Okay.
Querétaro. Yeah, I mean those aren't bad teams either.
Santos with Paco.
Yeah, that's there you go. They made it.
Paco, He's just going to defend. Yeah, he's going to be fascinating actually. I know it's a different topic, but I think he's going to bring a completely new style to the league. It's going to be, I think, really defensive. Does he have
great contacts in Europe? I mean, he's just.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ayesteran was better known because of his time at Tecos, but he took a Tecos team that wasn't really very good, and I think he manufactured 2 0-0 draws in the playoff against Leones Negros, and they lost on penalties. But at the end of the day, it's like he took a team that had absolutely no resources and not a great squad, and got him right to the almost making the first division. So I think he's a very good coach, and his experience that he's got with Valencia, with Liverpool, and he's just made history in Tel Aviv. I mean, I know it's not the strongest league, but you can only win what's in front of you, and he won everything in his first season.
I like that.
No, just really quickly on him. I think it's an impressive signing. It's not like, and the thing is, like, it's not like you hear about him all the time, but you look at his resume, and it's
Champions League.
It's very impressive. Yeah, he was an assistant coach, Benitez, so like he, definitely did a good job. So,
but I think they're going to be pretty boring to watch. I think they're going to be very defensive.
Thank you, Kim Tate, for the great press release. I was like, who is this guy? Oh, okay, I know.
Kate, did you go Kate again?
No, I didn't. I said Kim.
Oh, I thought you said Kate.
Kim Tate. No, I said Kim. I said Kim Tate. Kim. These guys are trying to. Guys,
really quickly, Hector Herrera scored a goal.
Yes, Hector Herrera scored a goal. First goal of the season for Hector Herrera. Hopefully,
I didn't actually get a chance to watch that game. I was working the other job at the time, but I checked on my phone. And I saw the little live score, and I saw like a little soccer ball and Herrera's name right next to it. So I was pretty stoked about that. But I mean, the goal just looked like it was well placed. It looked like it was a short pass or short header to him, and he did a very good job of reacting towards it in knocking the back of the net. But good stuff for him, especially since like he had such a bad summer, you know. Yes, I think that was really Herrera really needed that. So it's good to see him score.
Watch out with Tecatito as well. I mean, there's this rumor that came out in the Telegraph over there in the Netherlands that FC Porto is interested in buying Tecatito from FC Twente. And Tecatito will be a good option in Lopetegui's lineup because Ricardo Quaresma left to Besiktas in Turkey. And I think Tecatito is this, gambetero player that could take over Quaresma's spot in that. When Porto plays like a 4-4-2 usually.
Yeah, and it's not surprising. I mean, right now if there was like a big hot commodity for like a younger Mexican player, you gotta imagine that Tecatito's up there. So I wouldn't be too surprised by something like that.
And then bring Ochoa. To Porto, we have 5 Mexicans there, right? I mean, this is like the Everton of the U.S. and this is like the Mexican, Portugal team over there.
Probably Godinho would probably get start in front of him and he'd be on the bench.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, great show. I know we hear no Liga MX love from Alex. It was just a lot of news, especially for Tuca Ferreti. But we'll come back. Expect next week we'll be talking a lot about Liga MX. Interesting. So many goals for the Liga MX. I'll say it because I don't say it very often. León super leader right now. But other than that, let's see how long it lasts. I'm just not jinxing it, but interesting.
Should we say like one line on something from Liga MX just to
go for it.
Let's see. Here's my long sentence. Querétaro are on the up. America are the most informed team in August. Pumas are the new title contenders, and Puebla were the most determined team because they were down 2-0 and then they came back.
Is my line Chivas continue to be poor? Dorados. Atlas as well. Cruz Azul, forget it. Pachuca, mess defensively. Tijuana, have no idea what's going on there. Naeem?
America is a huge title contender.
Oh, yeah.
Keep America. Here's mine. Keep America.
That's it.
Yeah. That's easy to say. They've allowed like 1 goal in the last 6 games in all competitions, something like that. It's weird.
You haven't played anybody. I'll be the one that's not jumping on the bandwagon of Nacho Ambriz for 3 games. Dorados, Pachuca, Bad Santos. Guys, just wait.
Veracruz was a good opponent.
Veracruz is the only one, and I'll give you that. But I'll say keep America up here and León kind of like, and then it's all right. Let America have all the limelight right now.
America's going to be right up there. I think the team's just so good. I mean, and Nacho Ambriz is an organized coach. I mean, I'm not saying he's the best coach in the league, but he's organized. He knows what he's doing, and
Nacho Ambriz's team has always have an attractive. Like when he came in, I'm like, I've always liked Nacho Ambriz's team. Watching him, so
yeah, he's a decent coach. I mean, I think he got a lot of stick just because it's not America's style, and I think America sometimes struggle with the identity of the team. Sometimes they want spectacular, when them and spectacular doesn't win like Matosas, they don't know what to do.
Yeah. I'll jump on it. I'll see. But really quickly, games to watch this weekend.
Dude, I haven't even checked. I don't check until like Wednesdays.
I'll be at Chivas Chiapas, and the only reason it's interesting is the La Volpe's and there's been this running feud for the last week now between De La Torre and Vergara and La Volpe, and they've been back and forth in the press, and basically it seems like Vergara just didn't want La Volpe anywhere near the national team, and it's going to be interesting because obviously he left Chivas in with the scandal, with the club's foot doctor. So it'll be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Cruz Azul America. I mean, it should be interesting, that one. I mean, because Cruz Azul is going on the down and America's going on the up. So
Tigres Querétaro could be really good too.
Still needed to be up in order to go on the down. So I just think and that is so we got I'll make a little plug-in for FoodMex Source. Always the fixtures and the latest results are right on the home page. Veracruz, Monterrey, Santos, Puebla. Then on the Saturday, Cruz Azul, América, Tigres, Querétaro, Pachuca, Atlas, Morelia, Tijuana, Dorados, Puebla, Toluca, León on Sunday, and Chivas versus Chiapas. That is it. All right, guys. Well, it's been great, obviously, having you guys on. I'm glad to be back. We'll be lots to go on, especially next week, where we'll have a game. A show on Monday, and then hopefully we'll do a pre-show with these guys for the Trinidad game, and then Argentina the following week. So it should be fun stuff here with the Mexican Soccer Show. If you have a YouTube account, definitely subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for our show.
If you're watching right now, you see the little subscribe button. Just click it. It takes like a second. That's all you can. Just click it. You see it right now. I know you see it right now. Just click subscribe.
Guys, we're not gonna be done until you click it. But Naib, last words.
No, we'll see. We'll see. I think it'll be exciting to see Tuca's first call-up. I don't know. We'll see if Rafa Marquez comes. Will Rafa Marquez be the captain with Tuca or something, or will Guardado continue being the captain as he excellently was during the Gold Cup, I think. And we'll see from there. I think there'll be a big what's the word? Big lupa on on the FMF.
Magnifying glass for the
magnifying
glass.
A big magnifying glass on the FMF with Ezio and Guillermo Cantú, because I think they have to select an appropriate coach for El Tri.
Nice. Tom, always a pleasure. No travel a lot. You're gonna be in Guadalajara for the Chiapas game.
Yeah. And then I'll be in Salt Lake City and Arlington, Texas.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Cesar, over there, Quakes game. Come on, right?
Hopefully I'll be able to go this Friday. Go watch Quakes and go see them shut down Gio. It's the only time I'm gonna be rooting against them. Sorry, Gio, but the Quakes got to make it to the playoffs.
Personal apology to Gio.
He's probably watching.
Good way to end the show.
Que de repente
me confundo con el Huicho Domínguez,
este personaje que ganó la lotería millonario, ¿no? El naco, patán, sigue.
Oh, fun times. All right, guys, well, this has been another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Keep us live here on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Pacific time. Join us on Facebook. We do have a Mexican Soccer Show on Facebook, and also, obviously, the Twitter. Tell your friends, tell everyone. We want to definitely grow, give you guys more coverage of the Mexican national team. I'm Wiso for FoodMex Source. Keep it here, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Oh, also, CONCACAF Champions League and Champions League on Thursday. Maybe Chicharito will get some minutes. That's it. That's all I have to say. All right. Next couple days.
Guys, thank you so much for all of you guys that are on the chats. We'll see you guys next week.